Family this week with Precious Caleb. Today we are looking at marriage at old. Marriage at old. It could be marriage at old age, biological age of those involved in the marriage, or marriage at old years by duration. The number of years, maybe months, the marriage has lasted. You see, sometime last week, women had a celebration, and one of the highlights in that program in the church was celebration of couples that have stayed up to 40 years in marriage. 40 years in marriage. That is about 4 decades in marriage. It was a beautiful thing to behold. Man, so many couples were called up and they were awarded. Please listen to what I'm saying. Awarded for having stayed up to 4 decades in marriage. Not that those that their spouses died were not supposed to be awarded, but the focus was on those that had their spouses with them and they have stayed in marriage for about 40 years and above. There, I noticed that most of the couples that were awarded were looking fresh. We're even looking younger than the newly wedded couples around me. Me, I don't know how you see it, but I'm being frank here. Even looking younger, healthier, happier than those that have been married for less than 10 years. Even those that have been doing drama in the name of content creation in social media. Those couples that were brought out and were awarded, they looked happier, they looked healthier, they looked fresher, they looked more relaxed, they looked more fulfilled. And as they were coming out, this couple will come out and they will be celebrated and they will be asked how many years. One will say 40 years, some said 41, some said 46. There was a couple that said 50, 51. There was another one 50, some 51, 56. There was one that said 68. 68. That they will be 68 by December. I mean, husband and wife having lived together in marriage for about 67 years, 8 months. That means by December, they will be 68 years in marriage. Looking so happy, looking fresh, looking relaxed, looking peaceful. As people were jumping up, as people were jubilating, celebrating, so many thoughts were going through my mind. So many questions were popping up. And that is what I am here to treat today. Marriage at old. You see, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, an elderly woman, she was in church that day, invited us to her house for her 93rd birthday. That means she just turned 93 years old. I was there, went, and I was like, where is her husband? Where is her husband? Somebody told me, the husband is still alive. Incidentally, the husband is also blind. So 2 of them blind. She at 93, it means that the husband should be like 94, 95, 90 something. And looking fresh and healthy. The only problem was that 2 of them were not seeing. But they were communicating freely, flowing happily. I was like, man, then roll it back to the event of last week where I witnessed couples that have stayed in marriage for about 40 years, 41, 46, 50, 56, till the one of 68 years in marriage that will turn 68 in December. I pinched myself and I decided to talk to myself, to talk to people around me, to talk to people listening to me, even the person watching me right now. I just want to talk to you. You see, some time ago, I wrote on marriage at night. Marriage at night. And people were like, Jesus, which one is marriage at night? People's mind were going to maybe some natural activities that happen when it's dark, maybe around 10 p.m., 11 p.m., whatever your mind tells you. Yes, you're correct. Okay, fine. I think some people were thinking I was talking about some things that happen when it gets dark among people that are married. Far from that. My emphasis was in that work was that, you see, marriage is a lifelong thing, is a work, is a covenant work between two persons, two adults, two persons, male and female, who are joined together to become one, and they will be together till death separates them. It simply means that in marriage there is no opening for walking out. There is no opening for saying, I'm done with this, I can't take this anymore, this one is irreconcilable, we cannot handle this. No, there's no room for that. That the only permission for not being together again is when death sets in. And someone will tell me, how about divorce? Jesus said that in the beginning it was not so, but because of the hardness of the hearts of people, that option came. And that option is that option that the Bible said that God hates. Yes, I know. Some will say, but there are some people that are like this, like that. Yes, in as much as God hates divorce, God doesn't want you to die young as a result of domestic violence or abuse or things that one can literally avoid. So, but when it comes to life-threatening situations, we can opt for some, rescue measures. Yes, not that we are supporting separation or we're supporting divorce, but there is a situation marriage will get to. We think of what to do, as those that are involved in marriage, relationship, homes matters. Yes, so that the parties will be alive, as we hope that eventually settlement will take place and reconciliation will overshadow the pains of the past. That by the way, let's just keep it. Now, I want to say this. In my article, I tried to itemize stages involved in marriage, and I said that marriage at night is the marriage that occurs when it's no longer day, it's no longer early, the sun is no longer bright. It's a time when people walk into their stage of rest. Yes, that is marriage at night, when people do what is expected of people to do at night: to go in, close the door, keep visitors have gone, strangers have gone. If there is anybody that should stay around, everybody will mind his or her own business and people will go and rest. That is the stage that I'm talking about now. And I think that from the age of 40, one can say that somebody's marriage has entered that stage of rest. That is marriage at night. Now, let me say this. Like the day, we have early morning, we have morning, we have midday, we have afternoon, we have evening, and we have night. That is how it is in marriage. Some people, when they get married immediately, they are just in their early morning hours of their marriage, when they don't want to wake up from sleep. The sleep is still so sweet. That is that romantic stage when honeymoon, honey, I love you, I cannot do without you, blah, 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 blah. You just don't want to get out from blanket. You don't want to throw a blanket. You don't want to get up from the bed. You want the thing to continue like that. But hey, excuse me, after 7 o'clock, when it gets to 8 o'clock, when it gets to 9 a.m., everywhere is so bright that you too will be uncomfortable if you're still lying down on the bed. And people in the neighborhood will be wondering what you're still doing there, whether you are okay or not. Yes, that is how it is in marriage. There is a stage in marriage when the euphoria of newlywed would naturally fizzle out. Yes, fizzle out. And you come to that stage of mourning when responsibilities begin to, come in, when you begin to see the flaws, when you begin to notice some things, when you begin to say, it's not as sweet as I thought it's going to be. And as you're still battling with that, all of a sudden it's 12 noon. When the sun stands at the center, everything becomes clear. The same sun that, the heat melts oil is still the same sun that the heat dries food. Like cassava dries plantain and things like that. So at that point, some people will say, no, this marriage must melt. Like oil will naturally melt under the heat of the sun at noonday. Another person will say, no, this sun will not melt my marriage. It's going to make it stronger. It's going to dry it like it can dry cassava or other things. So the first stage of marriage, at that point, you just don't want to face reality. You want it to remain like that a guy will be all over you all the time. Before you wake from sleep, he has prepared breakfast, he has brought to you. At that time, everything about your wife is standing, everything, the makeover, everything just like that, and you wouldn't want to get up from that euphoria. You want it to remain like that. Every morning you want to be feeling as if you're going for a fresh wedding with your wife or with your husband. Yes, that is the early morning. It gets to a time when you begin to see responsibility, like I have said. When those that you borrowed money from for the wedding, when the banks, when school issues, when family members, when in-laws begin to come and make demands, complaints and all the stuff, hospital bills, house rent and all the stuff start coming up. That is reality coming up. The sun has come out. You're beginning to see those things hidden in the dark in the night. Those things hidden in the dark in the night. The dirty things cleaned and dropped when it was still dark that early morning. Now that it is morning, sun has come out. You're beginning to see them. You're beginning to see them. You're beginning to see that your wife actually doesn't like the kind of music you thought she used to like. At that time, you begin to notice that your husband doesn't give a damn whether you cook well or not. It doesn't bother him. At that point, you begin to see that oh Jesus, so this guy can snore. So this guy snores. So this guy doesn't use toilet very well. You just begin to notice something. At that time, you begin to notice some pieces of dirty stuff falling off from your wife's body and your clothes and the environment. You notice that she cannot sweep as she claimed, that she could sweep. That is the time when it's morning. At that time, you're beginning to feel like, what is this? You want to complain to your pastor, you want to complain to your parents or your in-laws. That is the morning time. Reality is beginning to come in. It's beginning to come in. Bam! It gets to a point where we are the climax of the whole thing. Everything, the past of your husband comes and you're seeing it. The past of your wife will come like this. Because son, you see this is son, son does not have respect for anybody. That stage in the day when the sun is at the center, at that time that we call noon time, things hidden can be seen. Things that are swept under the carpet can easily be noticed. That is how it is in marriage. At the noon time of marriage, hey, somebody will say, I can't take this anymore. Me, I cannot. I didn't even know. So my wife can do this. What is this? I cannot. At that time, your pastor will talk. You say, you're not here. Your parents will talk. You say, I cannot take it. Someone will say, how can you? What is it? What is it? And at that point, some people end their marriages at that time. Some people will just say, what else? Where else can I go? Like disciples of Jesus said, where else can we go to? You're asking us, who else has the bread of life? Who has the word of life? Where are we going to? There are some people that will resign and say, I beg, how go do now? How go do now? My job, I've abandoned my job because of this relationship. I got into marriage. I got so many offers. I refuse. And now, at my age, if I'm telling me leave now, what will happen to my children? If I'm telling me leave now, what? So let me just stay there. So the same son that scatters other people's marriage can as well make people the same reality that made some to pack their things and say, I can't take this. That same reality can make some to hold on and say, God, into your hands, how go do? What do you mean I go do? I don't enter. To come out now, wahala. Yes, that is the noon time. And immediately it's afternoon. People are taking decisions. People are acting on their decisions. They're acting on their decisions. And when it gets to afternoon, evening time is the time when people are becoming weak of the troubles, of the quarrels, of the fights, of the complaints, of calling meetings, of making fun of their wives in the public, of cajoling their wife, of throwing their spouses things outside. That is the evening time. Gra don't finish. Children have left you people. Yes, children have left you people. At that time, if God blessed you or early and you had your children early, by that time most of your children must have married. Are you getting me now? Some of your children have gone to school. Some of your children have relocated. Maybe it's now just you, your husband, your wife, or maybe now the retirement baby. So at that time, you're becoming tired of quarreling. You're becoming tired of abusing each other in marriage. Yes, now, that is the evening time of marriage. That is around that time when you know that if two of you fight now, there is nobody around to separate you people. So two of you will just sit down and advise yourself and say, can a person not play with you? Is everything that is fight? You want to slap your wife, you remember that now your bone no strong like before. Your bone no strong, no matter the quantity of calcium you take. And you want to do Arabanko, this one easy. Ika go deep you wa. Now things have changed. Things have changed. Analog and digital are no longer the same. You advise yourself, and you that used to carry girls all over, but at that time you'll be checking your heartbeat all the time. You checking your blood pressure. You advise yourself. It's every time that wife will say, "Hey, where are you now?" No. She too. She's looking for somebody to ask her, where are you now? Where are you now? At that time, you advise yourself. You tell yourself when to come home, and you need to come home early, because if you hear boom by 7:30, you may not be able to run as you used to run before. Are you getting it? That's the evening of the time when people begin to talk senses into themselves. Yes, that is it. Then we'll get to the night time when all the quarrels are over. All the quarrels are over. Even to go out is a problem. You're quarreling with government that is not paying you pension. You're quarreling with tenants that are not paying their money. You're quarreling with your doctor that will not come and check on you. You're quarreling with those that produce the BP monitor and their own is fake. You're quarreling with those that say that you should be taking insulin or that you should be monitoring your sugar. You're quarreling with those that sold the BP, the kit for checking your sugar. You'll be quarreling with everybody. You're thinking about surgeries, whether you should go or not. You're thinking about whether your wife should travel to your daughter's place for Mugo, or whether you should be the one to go. At that time, Garagara has finished. At that time, 12, you look at yourself and forcefully decide to accept yourself. At that time, life becomes easy. You're not struggling to pay rent. You're not struggling to pay school fees. You're not doing any school runs. You are now relaxing, and the grandchildren are all around you. At that time, you know that the promise of God that your children, that you have your children, even your children, you begin to see the reality of it. That is the time I'm begging people to hold on and get to that time. That time, they call it one word. At that time, marriage is sweet. You're not afraid of getting pregnant. You're not battling with the pills. You're not afraid. In fact, bros, at that time, even if you too they like women, you can start from morning. By evening, you have not finished one round. Are you getting me? Because you do, you tire. Frustration one setting, you calm down. You look your wife go look you. Be laughing more like Mebeka or Biani muzzle agugo. At that time, muzzle agugo. So your wife is not even afraid of you waking her up in the night because Ikagula dibiowa. Omrozin kineme. So at that time, you humble yourself. You just humble yourself and tell yourself, okay, to whom it may concern. Are you getting me? At that time, those things that used to hype you like this, you will not allow anybody to hear something. Those things have all gone. Now you are telling yourself, I'm getting close to grave, whether by rapture or by death. Naturally, you know that, time is going. Children are not stressing you, not stressing your face. At that time, you just advise yourself and relax and eat the sweat you piled up that have yielded fruits and beautiful things to you. At that time, you just relax and eat the fruit of your labor. That is the age I am asking my fellow women, my brethren, my friends are watching me, my colleagues, fellow ministers. May we just try reach that stage. That is the best stage in marriage. That's the best stage in marriage. Nobody is carrying you up and down to go for antenatal. Nobody is carrying you to check your sperm count. Nobody is checking whether you can produce or not. Nobody is asking you. Nobody is even concerned about whether you brush your mouth or not. Nobody is interested in your makeup again. You just day like that, and your husband day like that, your wife day like that. The children will come from time to time and visit you, or send the grandchildren to come and check on you. At that time, if you were wide, if you were busy to your spouse when you were younger, when your muscle they strong, when they flex, they do anyhow. At that point, two of you did there like lockdown during COVID-19. Compulsory, two of you are there. Hey, a man could see me anyhow because Are you getting me? Yeah, you just sit down there. Your children will be sending things. This one will send a lot and say, oh, mommy, how about your provision? Say, it's mainly just me low. Milk is small. Piam, wagam, a lot will come. Or they position a POS guy around the neighborhood to be sending you money. You know, something like that. At that time, you're not quarreling with anybody. You're not quarreling with anybody. You have one different styles of clothes. Which style are you sewing again? Is it ready-made? Is it Ankara material? Is it skirt and blouse? Is it uniform? Uniform everywhere. At that time, you step into your rest. That is marriage at night. Now, I want to tell you that most of these people that we celebrated their marriages at 40 and above, most of them, they don't really have much that worried about. I know of a particular one, they are married at 40. That one and the husband, two of them are there on their own, and they're enjoying themselves. Children have all grown, married, their own jobs and all the stuff. Two of them are there. When they have time, they wash their clothes. They cannot wash their clothes. They call laundryman to come and carry and wash. They come back like that. They fold their hands like this. Two of them will enter kitchen. Yes, two of them will enter kitchen. That is the beginning of fresh honeymoon. And that kind of honeymoon, that honeymoon is sweet past the first honeymoon. That, you know, the first honeymoon, you'll be thinking about the bills to pay. You'll be thinking about those that you needed to settle. At this one, you're not settling the DJ. You're not settling the cake designer. You're not settling the person that sewed the clothes for you. You're not settling the person that nobody. You're just there, two of you. You're just there looking at yourself. All your this one has finished. All your this one. I'll go do now. Beautiful. Now, look at it. That is the best time to enjoy marriage. Now, these people, see how we're celebrating them. Did I tell you that I noticed that they were looking fresh? Yes, fresh and peaceful. At that time, fights have finished. Any fight at that time is a wasted fight because nobody is ready to separate. The bones have become weak. Where will you put your legs to start kicking your wife? Where will you balance to box your wife? And you, wife, which energy do you have now to be nagging? No, at that time, energy has dropped too. I'm telling you reality. You can't nag like before. You at that time, instead of nagging, you'll be soliloquizing, you'll be murmuring. And when you notice that your murmuring is not yielding anything except that you're releasing the number of words you're supposed to release in a day, you just be happy. You start singing. At that time, you join choir. You notice it. At that time, you join choir. At that time, you start doing small things. You open small poultry in your house so that you'll be communicating with the chicken. You start doing fish pond. You start doing small things like that because you're not struggling. It's not as you work that they go. At that time, you're not struggling to, like, you have come to the time when the Bible says that that you mount up with this as eagle. You will run and not faint. Then you will walk. You walk and not faint. You run and not grow weary. You mount up with as eagle. At that point, you are walking. You will not faint. Nobody is mounting pressure on you. In fact, there are some issues that will come in the neighborhood. Village people will come and say, can't you see that they have retired? What do you want from them? Oh, now I'm begging you, young people that are scaring our children from getting married. Stop scaring our children. Scaring them in the sense that you wed today, tomorrow you are disturbing us on social media. I cannot take this anymore. That this one has broken up. Why? He cheated on me. Oh, he did this. She did that. She was seeing her ex and all this. Social media. Is it every discussion that you carry to social media? Is it every discussion? Is it every matter that you carry to social media? That's what I'm asking you now. You that's mother, you say you cannot do again. You will do. Oh. You will do, because you stressed all of us, including me indirectly, when you were about doing that wedding. You were going for wedding, but you did not prepare for marriage. You were going for wedding. You did not prepare for marriage. Now, small time, you say you cannot take it. Have you noticed that some of our celebrities, some have married first, second, third, even the fourth one, and are still not satisfied? Because if you don't have understanding of marriage, you cannot manage marriage. At that, you just easily get offended. You get offended and you get out of that wedding. You get out of that marriage and you get involved in another one, looking for a perfect one. That person will come and notice that you are not perfect. And that one will work out. You say, oh, the next, you go for the Third one, to prove to them, to prove to the whole world that you are the best along the line. The person that has come is not really the type that can manage that thing the other person was managing. The second person managed or the first person tolerated. And that one just, and it keeps going like that. It keeps going like that. My problem with this is that some don't even want to learn from it. Some don't want to learn from it. And at that, the younger ones that want to get married, hey, their heart will just be beating. Hey, yeah, this person that was thinking that, look at the marriage has scattered. Yes, I want to beg all of us, women, because women, let us just try. Our husbands, are they perfect for we are? Our husbands, nemeta. Our husbands can do sometimes what they do. We look at them and wonder who taught them, who brought them up, who turned their brains like this. There are some things our husbands will do. We look at them like this, we feel like flinging them like this and throwing them away. But anya getufu hetufu, anya bela now. We have become one. When we throw them away, we are throwing ourselves away. You should not wash it. Forget our modern philosophy telling us lies. That if you're just tired, you just get up. Obroko like that. The memories don't go like that. I've done a talk on that. Our past that comes to live with us. I've done a talk on that too. The tormenting memories of our partner, something like that. Because the time will come, you realize that, oh, if you had understood this your husband, if you had understood this your wife, you would have handled this matter this way. And at that time, maybe go. When you open everybody and go kitty anaka. At that time, when we glass akwago, you can sell the table. Glass. At that time, you won't know what to do again. You start feeling bad. Guilt will start tormenting you. So what I'm telling people is this: don't in a hurry walk out of your marriage, because the person you're walking out from, yes, I believe is not perfect, has offended you. The person you're walking into his or her own arms, are you sure that person is better off? Because when you go to cold room, you notice that all the chicken there, they are the same color. But it's when they were having feathers that you can say that, oh, this one is broiler, this one is cockerel, this one is this one is layers. You understand now? But when you remove the feathers, bro, say you notice that all of them are the same thing. Forget that confusion they are giving you. It is a momentary stuff. When reality hits everybody, when you see your feathers, you will see that all of us all want the same thing. Maybe it's a matter of adjusting things. So what am I saying? Three things. Number one, have understanding of marriage. Marriage is not what your village people planned for. Your village people did not plan marriage. Marriage was instituted by God. Marriage. God planned that marriage should be, instituted. At that, if you want your marriage to work, go to the manual from the manufacturer, the one that invented marriage. Carry the manual and read it, and you see it is simple. Have respect for one another. You respect one another. Consider the other one better. Husband, consider your wife better. Obro no the better. Bible say consider one. Wife, consider your husband better. Obro no better. Consider. And then husbands, love your wife. Love is a decision. Love is a decision. Love your wife. If not for as your wife, love your wife as your neighbor. Love your wife even as your enemy. Love your wife as a fellow human being. Love your wife as a creature. Something created by God. Are you getting my point? Just love. And women, submit. Someone say, with what? Yes, submit. Submission is not throwing away your will, but it is holding your will and putting your will under the will of your husband. And at that, he will know that you have every right to do otherwise, but you decided not to do. It is a gift you give to your husband. And yes, I know some men abuse it, but we are bigger than that. We are bigger than that. There are some things you look at, you know that somehow sometimes you weep you bend this your knees and on your knees you'll be controlling the affairs. You will use prayers and put your husband on at a spot where his brain will be correct. You use prayers and surround your husband like this. Your husband that bruise here, touch and die. Onye me anyhow or anyhow. By error and by correction, things are name. When you run away, that means another woman has conquered you. Another woman has conquered you. I didn't say you should come and fight, but there are ways we fight and people will not know that we are fighting. You arrange everybody and put everybody where the person's seat belongs. The truth, that's what I'm telling you. There's nobody that doesn't have issues. Anybody that tells you that his or her marriage, there has not been any issue, he has not offended me, the person is lying. But the issue is that more matured women have a way of handling issues. They handle it. Each your cold water, they give it to you. They handle the thing with cold water. If it needs hot water, there are women that know how to use hot water and handle things. And you secure your territory. God said, dress it and keep it. As you're dressing your husband, as you're dressing your family, you're keeping it. And when you're keeping it, you are declaring your territory of invasion. Are you getting my point now? Yes, that there are some levels of invasion that will not come to your own area. Because the Bible said, dress it and keep it. You can't dress and just do as if, no, you're just, as you're dressing it, people are noticing how fine your marriage, your home, your husband, your wife is becoming. At that, you just need to know that people are becoming aware that there is something good about your marriage and they want to invade. They will come to scatter. There are some people that want to scatter your marriage, not because you offended them, but they are just uncomfortable that your own marriage is working. And you just need to get up and put them where they belong and draw boundaries, set boundaries. Set boundaries. You just let them know across. Yes. Because even when you're driving, that is when you get to gear 5, each of us here gear 6 and gear 7, you're on your own. You must know soon and very soon we are going to meet the Lord. That is what you're singing at that time. Are you getting my point? Beautiful. And so at that point, have understanding. I have 3 points, but I say, first of all, have understanding of what marriage is. There is a covenant work, a relationship, something that was instituted by God. And that thing instituted by God is supposed to be between a man and a woman. And they will be together as one till death will do them. So there will be no need for any doing of parting except by death. Every other thing should be put under consideration. Did you get that? Now you have understanding of marriage. The second thing to do is for you to decide that your marriage will work. Now that you have understanding of marriage, take a firm decision that your marriage will work. Look at these people I told you that they have been married for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, 68. Like my father, before my father died, I discovered that they have been with my mother, they married for about 60-something years. Yes, my father married late anyway, and married a very young girl. Yes, and they have been married for about 60 years before my father died. Yes, they are married for about 60 years before my father died. Are you getting me? Did they have issues? Yes. Did I witness them quarrel? Yes. Did I witness heated argument? Very well. But in all, they will still be there. They will be there. And invariably, they were teaching us that marriage is not all that easy, but it is something that is not impossible. That anybody that is determined to make his or her marriage to work will eventually have marriage that has worked. So, number one, have understanding of what marriage is. That is not your village arrangement. It's not an African thing. It's not an Oyibo thing. It is something that was ordained, ordained by God. And it is God's manual that will help the marriage to work. Because it is the manual by the manufacturer of a vehicle that will help you to know how to manage the vehicle, and the vehicle will last for you. You cannot be driving Toyota products and you'll be using Volkswagen manual to drive it, work on it, and repair it. Before you know it, it will be confusing. Like the other day, I saw Kia vehicle. On top of it, I saw Honda on top of it. And to tell you the truth, without exaggerating, immediately I noticed it. I looked at it. I was standing with a friend. I said, this car is carrying is care. But on top of it, I'm seeing Honda. The person started laughing. And as we started laughing, the car could not move again. The car started rolling backwards. I say, you see it? When you mix this and that, now that is a joke. It really happened. But I'm bringing it on a letter note that if your vehicle is a Volkswagen product, you cannot use Honda or you cannot use Ford manual to be driving it, to be controlling it, to be maintaining it, and things like that. So if the marriage was instituted and ordained by God, manufactured by God, get the manual from God, the manufacturer, so that you know how the marriage will be well managed, driven, and maintained. Then I said number 2 is that you should decide on your own. It takes personal decision for marriage to work. They say that where there is a will, there will be a way, no matter how bad it looks. If you have made up your mind that this marriage will come, bro, say that marriage will work. The Bible said that Daniel purposed in his heart. It is a matter of purposing in your heart that your marriage will work. Yes. Whether the man is misbehaving or not, whether the woman is misbehaving or not, if you have purpose in your heart that this marriage will not be like the marriage of your parents, will not be like the marriage of your friends, will not be the marriage of those in your village, no matter how that this marriage will come, I tell you, the grace that makes marriage to be easy will suddenly come upon you. It is something you desire that you can attract, and what you attract seamlessly will come to you. So as you have decided on making your marriage to work, on making sure that the marriage works, the third thing I have for you is you getting to work. There are some people that have decided to go to school, but they don't want to go to school. They have not carried their bags to go to school. They want to become medical doctors. It is their personal desire that they will become medical doctors. But now, go to school. Pick your bags, go to school. Do science subjects. Please write your exams, do your assignments, do tests. They will refuse to do. Bro, say, do you think that won't work? It will not work except in imagination. There are some people that have desire of sweet marriage. There are some people that purpose in their hearts that their marriage will work, but they don't want to get to work. It cannot work except you work. It cannot work except you work. And God will not come down from heaven and make things to work except you put your hands on the plow and keep moving. You know those things you're supposed to do for your marriage to work. Taking care of the people around you, loving your husband, loving your wife, submitting to your husband, respecting your husband, making sure that people outside will not take advantage of the secret things that run your marriage. Yes, when you do these things, definitely your marriage is going to work. And as you have made up your mind that your marriage will work and you're doing the things you're supposed to do, I want to bring the spiritual angle to it, because physical things are controlled by spiritual manipulations. Every manifestation in the physical is as a result of manipulation in the realm of the spirit. There are some marriages that are having issues today, not because we are not doing what we are supposed to do, not because the man is not good, not because the woman is not good, but because some are just sleeping and the enemy is planting tares. The Bible says that the enemy has done this, that when men slept, the enemy came and planted tares. There are some spiritual angles to this thing we call marriage. There are some people that can do anything to make sure that your marriage will collapse. They can travel to any witch doctor's place. They can do any sacrifice. They can be at a junction. They can walk naked in the night. They can strip themselves. They can do anything to make sure that your marriage does not work. And I'm asking you, would you allow them to succeed? Will you allow them to succeed? Do you know those that are traveling, going up and down with your husband's picture? Do you know those that wanted to marry your wife and your wife did not marry them, and you think they will fold their hands and watch you be kissing the person, be hugging the person, be parading the person that they desired to have? And they could not, and just stay there and just be speaking in tongues in small letter, rababa, shanda, rababa. No, there must be a time when you tell yourself that this one, Jesus said, this one will not go except by fasting and prayer, where you take rugged steps to handle rugged issues in your marriage, to make your marriage to be a rugged one. At that time, you bend your knees, you kabash in the daytime, in the nighttime, as you're walking on the road, as you're cooking in the kitchen, as you're lying down to sleep, you are controlling affairs in the realm of the spirit. You're dismantling some things mantled against your marriage. Yes, everybody around you becomes a suspect till the person is declared innocent by your own spiritual investigation. So what am I trying to say? Don't think that everything about your marriage is natural, is Coincidental is by is your reasoning by exposure. Some time ago, we did a talk, Hear Me Out talk show, and we said that one was marriage by might. We listed some things that people naturally are expected to do for their marriages to work. And when we analyze them, we discuss that most of the people that have done all these things, they still don't have marriages that worked. We now said, okay, when the physical cannot, then the spiritual should. We now said that is spiritual angle to marriage being successful. So at that, I bring you to this reality that your marriage can be successful. Your marriage can reach the 40 years, like we talked about, can reach 50 years, 60 years, if you understand the spiritual undertone of the manifestations in marriages. And the grace of God to do that will be released upon you when you have a desire for that to be achieved. All right, so right now, I want to pray with you that God of heaven, the God of heaven that created man and desired that man will not, be alone, that man will have a helpmate. Let that God help you. Let that God strengthen you. Let that God give you wisdom. Let that God give you courage. Let that God make marriage easy for you. That everything you need to succeed in marriage will be released upon you in the name of Jesus. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. May the Lord cause his light to shine upon you, upon your marriage, upon your home, upon your relationship. And let the grace of God that makes things easy be released upon your marriage, that your marriage will be easy. Your marriage will reach 40 years. Your marriage will reach 50 years. Your marriage will reach 60 years. Your marriage, if the Lord does not come soon, your marriage can reach 70 years. And your marriage will be that long in good health, in peaceful atmosphere. In the name of Jesus. God bless you. God bless you. Don't forget, this is your family. This is with Precious Caleb. And we'll come your way every Sunday as the Lord enables us to see how we can be of blessing to your relationship, to your home, to your marriage. The Lord bless you. Till when next I come your way, my name is still Precious Caleb. I'm your friend and I love you. God bless you. See you next Sunday.